It's quiet here in Kharkiv at the moment, but the war is never far away. Today we'll be traveling back to Kiev after an overnight air raid destroyed lives and homes of Ukrainians once more. A very good afternoon from in front of the train station here in Kharkiv. I need to go back to Kiev. The thing is, there has been a huge air raid last night in which dozens of people have been killed. Damage has been done, widespread damage in the city of Kiev and other places in Ukraine, but mostly Kiev. And one of the intercity trains that runs between Kiev and Kharkiv has been destroyed as well. The destroyed train, an Intercity Plus, there's only a few of them in the Ukraine here. I decided to head out to the train station slightly earlier, as soon as I could actually, to figure out what's going on, but my train seems to be running. It is slightly late, 20 minutes late. Purely first world problems for me here. I'll manage. Because I booked my trip to Kharkiv very last minute, I only managed to get a return trip by 2 separate trains and a transit in Myrhorod, which is about 2.5 hours away from Kharkiv here. My connection is 35 minutes there, assuming that the ongoing train is not running late. The ongoing train is the train that departs from Kramatorsk. I have about 22 hours before my departure on the international train, the Transcarpathian train, all the way to Budapest, because I need to go home. I have things to do back in the Netherlands, of course. That will end my 2-week travel here in Eastern Europe, and I spent 10 days in Ukraine by then. My problems are really first world problems, and I realize that, but I'm making travel videos. That weird feeling, let's put it at that. Worst case scenario, I might head over to the bus station to get a bus back to Kiev. But that would mean a late night arrival, or at least later than the trains would arrive, and some travel to get to my hotel, which is of course another really first world inconvenience. Today's trip consists of 2 separate trains because of my fairly last minute decision to travel to Kharkiv. The first section is on the number 723 train, which is an Intercity Plus train, a modern intercity train. As this train was full starting from Myrhorod, I was forced to transfer onto another train, the number 101 train. This is a train with Kherson as destination. This train used to start in Kramatorsk, but that station has unfortunately been closed because the situation became too dangerous for trains to operate. It's a beautiful summer day in August 2025, but just last night Kyiv and many other cities and towns in Ukraine were bombed, killing civilians. An Intercity Plus train, the type you see rolling in here now, was also attacked, damaging cars. As the train arrives, music can be heard in the background of people saying their last goodbyes, not knowing if they will ever meet again. Once the train stops, people start queuing as if it was yet another perfectly normal day. It isn't though, with Russia just a few dozen kilometers away from here. It didn't take long for the train to leave Kharkiv. As we are slightly delayed, there maybe was some pressure to leave ASAP, but if there was, I didn't notice it, as nothing seemed to be hurried. That said, my pre-ordered lunch was brought to me pretty soon once we were moving and passengers had settled down. The 180 hryvnia curry chicken with rice was of course a microwave menu, but that didn't scare me. It was a fairly sized portion as lunch, and the taste was pretty decent as well, with a few big pieces of chicken. So what did I pay for this 2-train escape? Again, first world problem here, nothing really happened in the city of Kharkiv, and I'm traveling back to Kiev that survived yet another heavy air raid overnight. The ticket combined with that one meal just now was a total of 1,234 hryvnia, or some €25. And now it's time for that transfer in Myrhorod. Did I miss it? My train is still at 45 minutes, so I would have not been able to make my connection onto the Kramatorsk to Kherson train. Now, the good thing is that train was right behind us, so we are ready to board in about 15 minutes, I guess. me being able to catch this train brings me to Kiev about 1 hour earlier than if I would have taken the next train, which I have also booked a ticket on, which I will cancel when I get on my train. Who knows, someone needs it. This is the town of Myrhorod. And the train I'm getting on is indeed the first one behind me. How amazing is that for delays? Even delayed trains make sense here. That was the train I saw in Poltava. So I guess we overtook it there. Look, the Kherson to Kramatorsk train. Seeing this random family boarding a train gives a sense of normalcy. Life continues. Life has to continue for Ukrainians. Whether it's traveling to see family or traveling because you have time off from the front lines. Obviously, filming military stuff isn't a smart thing to do. So if I inadvertently did, I will cut it out of what I publish, of course. Many of the coupés are already filled with passengers that boarded earlier, or maybe even in Kharkiv. So I am in a deluxe sleeper again, but it's only until 8 o'clock, so I'm not going to sleep. This is obviously a way older train than I had a few days back. But yeah, let's have a quick look. We have mirror, 2 mirrors, always like that, 2 mirrors. The blankets are up there, an extra pillows. This is my comforter set, which I would probably not open. Two beds. My bunk bed decided to have a smoke or something, and I made my connection. So what happened is that my train was delayed by 20 minutes when we left Kharkiv earlier today. Arriving in Poltava, it was already 40 minutes, which meant I would not be able to catch my ongoing train, which I have a ticket for starting at Myrhorod. Shortly after arrival at Myrhorod, there was an announcement for a train from Kramatorsk to Kherson, which is of course exactly the train I was on, only for the section from here to Kharkiv, to Kiev again. Lucky me, that train was stuck behind us for the entire journey, and I was correct in noticing that train parked right next to us at the Poltava station. I'll be in Kiev again just after 8 o'clock in the evening. I'll be checking in for one last night here in Kiev, and tomorrow morning we are going abroad again, back to Western Europe slowly. I only have one night left in Kiev, and of course last night we had a massive attack by the Russians, killing almost 20 people as far as we know now. One of the locations that was hit is about 2 kilometers away from my hotel. So I might drop by tomorrow morning, but we'll see, depends on how things are going. I'm not too far from the toilet, yet I didn't review it on board the Intercity Plus, so here we go. No window that you can open here, so it's a little bit smelly, but not too bad. 3 more hours to Kiev. And there is also no running water at the moment. Not sure if that's how we left from Myrhorod earlier. This toilet works though, but that is not too amazing, as it mainly just opens a flap for the contents to be dumped right on the tracks. That's why you don't use toilets like these when at the train station. Still, it isn't noisy really. I'm on Zulyanska Street, just west of the Olympic Sports Complex in Kyiv. Only 15 hours ago, at the time of recording of these clips, this very area was struck by a Russian missile, damaging dozens of homes and businesses, forcing people to vacate their homes for the time being. The massive overnight attacks on August 28, 2025 were hanging in the air for about a week or so, as earlier on Russian recon drones were observed in the area. It wasn't only Kyiv that was struck on this date though. A dozen other cities had to deal with the aftermath of dozens of missiles and hundreds of Shahed suicide drones. Though only 15 hours ago or so, the streets are clean and the buses are running. Unfortunately, there are piles of scrap with scattered windows and their frames, blown out doors, damaged walls and cars in the street, their windows taped off. Another attack by Russia on simply being Ukrainian has passed. The next one will come.